Welcome to the RETSY podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Morrison. Today, Chris and I sit down with RETSY agent Nolan Hynes. Nolan shares with us his experience battling cancer twice. Chris and I left this episode very inspired, and I sure hope you do too. Let's get into it.
I mean, we'll probably get into it, but I had a lot of health issues when I first got licensed, right? So I got licensed my freshman year of college that at 19 years old. I went with this one brokerage and stayed there. Amazing, family support, relationship, but I wasn't doing much business. And I realized at the end of the day, I'm doing real estate for myself, and I have to figure out what's right for me. And I needed a big change in environment. And after going to just being out and about, learning other brokerages and doing that, I went a lot to the Arcadia Camelback home tour, talked to a bunch of other RETSY agents there. I kept seeing all these beautiful homes and projects and developments done by RETSY agent, RETSY, right? And I was like, they're doing something right.
Welcome to the RETSY podcast. Today, Chris and I are sitting down with RETSY agent Nolan Hynes. Nolan, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited. I really appreciate being here. So
thanks for appreciate it. Yeah, giving us some of your time today. So you recently joined RETSY a little over a year ago on Jose's team, Jose Reyes. We had him on the podcast, and his is the best performing episode so far. And
it's so fun.
As I understand it, he kind of threw down the gauntlet. And,
yeah, exactly. We got to beat those numbers with this one.
Yep.
So that's the goal. I love that.
Jose wanted me to remind you, Chris, that you said there would be a prize for the most viewed podcast, and he currently holds that spot. So.
Oh. Well, that's something we'll have to figure out.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, well, probably with me because it's not gonna be Jose after this one.
Well, let's learn a little bit about Nolan. So, what did you do before real estate?
Yeah, of course. Well, I'm not that far into it yet, but before I did real estate, I did high school and college, basically. So I was in school for that whole time, and then lots of sports. I had the small jobs, of course, like working at a sneaker store back in Colorado, and then just a bunch of other smaller things. I never did real estate per se, but my dad and I flipped a couple properties back in Colorado, and that was kind of what leaned me into it coming out here. But of course, all I did was college and sports. So.
Yeah. So is that the flipping homes with your dad is what got you interested in becoming an agent and getting your license?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we were out there. I was doing carpet, roofing, drywall, all myself. Well, with my dad, of course. And then I was we did all this work. And I look at the settlement statement, I made this much and the realtor made how much, right? And I was oh, I need to do what they did. She just stood there and looked pretty and made all the money. And now that I'm an agent and doing it, I'm well, they didn't just sit there and look pretty. There's a lot more work to it than just standing there. But yeah, that's kind of one of the catalysts of getting into it. And then, of course, being in college, I really wanted to kind of do my own thing, run my own business, and go forward with that. So
I always find the best agents come from construction and understand the whole process. It's if you know how to pull wiring or wire a breaker or lay, tar or lay under roofing and just know every step of the process, you can represent your client that much better and understanding that whole build process.
Yeah.
In fact, we're finalizing, I'm looking at Sydney right now because I don't know if we have the exact date, but we're doing a tour within RETSY where we're going to visit different builds at different stages of the build so we can educate all the agents. I mean, most of our agents know this, but to be able to meet one of our contractor/agents at a property and ask the right questions and what are things costing nowadays and what's timelines and what are you guys seeing? Because I think in education and construction, it's it should be fundamental to getting a real estate license. You take those real estate licensing exams, everything's about math and numbers and laws and this and that. They don't really dive into construction.
No, not at all. Yeah, but I'm super excited for that. I remember you talking about it, and I was sign me up as soon as you have a date. I'll be there. So
I forget the car dealer, but I think it's Porsche or something. In order to get a certain level in the company of sales, you have to go and spend a week at the factory, watch them put together.
That's pretty cool. So, I do think it's important too, from an inspection perspective, actually know what they're talking about. When your clients are there, sure, whatever they say. So, yeah.
Well, and you have an inspector that might make, like a very small minor issue seem like, like it's a major deal killer, and and also to know what the deal killers are, like where it's like, hey, this is going to be a very expensive endeavor to try and make right.
I feel like most inspectors use very heavy language when they go over it with your clients, so you have to like let them know.
Well, and I find even repping my sellers, it's kind of like you get agents that maybe they don't understand the construction process, or maybe they're just newer and they see their first inspection report and they send it over to you and they're just like, there's all kinds of wiring issues and this and that, and you look and you're like, there's a GFCI that wasn't popping. Like, right. Those go bad. Right? Yeah. We're talking about an $18 part with maybe $100 to install it. Not a big deal. Calm down. What's the next thing?
Yeah, exactly.
But so going back to working on homes, were you guys flipping them, selling them?
Yeah, pretty much just flipping them. Nice. Pretty much everything. I tried to stay away from electrical. Like, I let my dad do that at that time, but we did roofs, landscaping, drywall, plumbing, cabinets, a lot of flooring, but that type of stuff. So pretty much just quick flips. And then a couple of them we held as rentals, and then my dad hated that. We all ended up getting like 3 for 3 really bad renters. And at the end of that, my dad was like, we're done with this. So, and I did that all like while going through high school and working at a sneaker store. And then
that's a great experience,
doing sports and stuff. So,
that's awesome.
So then you got your license and you were at a different brokerage for a while.
Yeah.
So what was it that attracted you to RETSY?
Well, I wasn't performing very well at the other brokerage, and then, we'll probably get into it, but I had a lot of health issues when I first got licensed, right? So I got licensed my freshman year of college at 19 years old. I went with this one brokerage and stayed there. Amazing, like, family support, like, relationship, but I wasn't doing much business, and I realized at the end of the day, I'm doing real estate for myself, and I have to figure out what's right for me, and I needed a big change in environment. And after going to just being out and about, like learning other brokerages and doing that, I went a lot to the Arcadia Camelback home tour, talked to a bunch of other RETSY agents there. I kept seeing like all these beautiful homes and projects and developments done by RETSY agent, RETSY, right? And I was like, they're doing something right. And I was like, stalking a perspective, like looking on the website, looking at the mailers. I was like, the branding, everything is so spot on. I got to see what they're doing over here because it's working and I love it. And it's very similar. Like, if I were to make my own company, that's the direction I would go in. So then I was like, boom, interviewed, talked to Matt, and I was like, this is a really cool spot to not like start in, but to grow in. And like, that's how I saw it. Like, it's not just like a one-time thing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you. We care about our brand.
Yeah, it shows. Yeah.
It's interesting hearing that, looking in and stuff. But it's ironically how our company's grown is agents talking to agents. We don't have a recruiter at RETSY. Somehow you got to. Well, actually, we have a way to go through our website to get in touch with us if you're interested in joining RETSY. But we kind of make it hard on purpose, right? Because I'd rather be introduced to an agent that will vouch for somebody and meet with them versus just the typical real estate brokerage methods.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and you were introduced to me by Hank Grease.
Yeah.
Who you'd met through the Arcadia home tour. So Hank is the one that connected us.
You connected Nolan with Jose.
Yeah.
Typically within RETSY, like
we should demystify like joining RETSY.
You demystify.
Okay. So typically, when RETSY hires an agent, we want to see that they have experience in the business, that they are a producing agent, and what would you say our threshold is? We're looking for that $7 to $10 million a year in production. Is that 10 million is kind of the benchmark, and then we've made exceptions for agents that had done a little less than that, 7 to 8 million, knowing that, hey, if we bring this agent on and they use the RETSY tools and plug into the RETSY system, we're going to get them over that 10 million in their first year. And we've done that successfully quite a few times.
We have that Prodigy tool that can just break down the agent's sales, and it's like you can figure out how long they've been in the industry, how many contacts they have, like how much drive they have. Whether an agent's going to hit that 10 million in sales.
Yeah. And with newer agents, we always, and I had to have the conversation I hate having, where it's like, I love you as a person because I definitely want to get into your story because
you got a great story.
when I met with you, I was just like so inspired. It's like, how could I be upset about anything, like with after what you went through and coming out on the other side of it with the outlook and attitude that you have? As like, we need to figure out a way to get you into the brokerage. And for a new agent, that looks like joining a team. And so connected you with Jose. Jose, you guys hit it off, and here we are.
Yeah, 1 for 1. That's all we needed. So it worked out.
Yeah.
He's such a great leader too. I mean, you just got to absorb everything you can from him.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
For sure. So I think we've teased it a little bit. Do you mind sharing the health challenges that you went through?
Of course. Well, so if I go back, right, when I was graduated high school, went to GCU out here, and then that freshman year, I was in the best shape of my life, great health, everything was going well. I actually that summer, I just passed the real estate school, so I was like ready to go take the state exam. And then I would have just like, over the summer, I just started like slowly not feeling well. And I started developing this weird like bloating in my upper abdomen. And my girlfriend, now fiance, was like, go to the doctor. And I'm like, it's fine. Like, I'm just going to drink apple cider vinegar and fart it out or something. Like, I don't know. It's like a dude, like it's fine, right? I've never had health problems before, so it's fine. And I just progressively started getting worse. And I had this family vacation in San Diego scheduled. And I told her, well, I'll if I'm still feeling bad after that, I'll go to the doctor. I go to San Diego with my family and her. My parents see the condition I'm in. They were like, I thought you said you were doing good. Like, you can barely walk upstairs. You can't breathe. You're not eating. Like, you got this weird bloating on you. Like, what is this? We're about to go deep sea fishing in Mexico. And I didn't get the option to no longer say no at this point. So my family was like, we're going to an urgent care just really quick, gonna get some antibiotics and go for it. And urgent care like assessed me, and they're like, you got way too much going on for me to do anything for you. You need to go to an ER. So I go to the ER.
Wait, were you down fishing in Mexico?
No. This was right before we went to Mexico. Okay. Right before we went.
So you're in San Diego.
We're in San Diego, and we go to this ER. We go to Scripps out in San Diego, and I'm so annoyed. I'm like, guys, it's fine. Like, I'm just ruining everyone's vacation. Like, let's just go, blah, blah, blah. And we go into the ER, and I'm back there, and I'm getting poked and prodded. Never had my blood drawn before. They're doing CAT scans, CT scans, like basically everything, right? And it's only me back there because they wouldn't let anyone else back for some reason. Every now and then they would let my dad back once, and then he'd have to be like ushered back out. It was crazy. And it was about 9 hours into it of me just waiting back there, frustrated. Everyone else is in the waiting room. And like 8.5 hours in, the doctor comes back to me and he's like, Nolan, you either have leukemia or lymphoma. And I was like, what's that? I honestly asked him, what's that? Because I had no idea. I've never had a friend with cancer, family member with cancer. It felt almost Hallmark to me, like it was some movie thing, right? And he goes, Nolan, that's cancer. And I was like, my jaw, I can just picture the moment, me on the bed in the ER in the back, just in shock, right? And my dad comes back, like he's crying, like I'm like trying not to cry, but of course I'm crying. Like, I don't know what that means really going forward.
Yeah.
And they're like, after further testing, like an hour later, they're like, hey, you have leukemia. About 88% of your blood is leukemia, and you have a 13.5 centimeter tumor wrapped around your heart. So there was this big crescent shaped tumor wrapped around my heart, and my heart was filling with fluid. And that bloating in my upper abdomen was actually my lungs being pushed down because of how much fluid buildup there was in my heart.
Oh my God. So
that same day, they bring in my family and Lexi one by one, and then, just go through it. And then I had to start chemo that day. So this random hospital in San Diego, I just get sent up into the inpatient, and we start chemo that same day. And then, just long story short, we stayed there doing all different types of chemo and going through the regimen I argue with this timeline all the time. I thought we were there for 2 weeks. My dad said that we were there for like a month. Lexi said we were there for like 4 days. It's all, jumbled. So at the end of it, they couldn't do the heart surgery for my tumor there because, they had to drain my heart, right? Because it was filling up, and that was the big issue that had to be addressed quickly. My tumor was right in the way of the path that they would have to go, so they couldn't do it. So they started getting me on a heavy steroid treatment, but we couldn't stay in San Diego. So I had to make the choice, do I go back home to Colorado, or do I stay out here in Arizona? And I remember my little rinky-dinky hospital out in my small town of Colorado. I'm like, I'm not gambling that thing. Like, send me to the Mayo Clinic, right? So I went to the Mayo Clinic up here, up north, and I got treated there for inpatient about 8 months. Like, living in the hospital, going through all the different chemos, treatments, surgeries. And I remember 8 months into it, my doctor brings me in for one of my checkups, and he's like, Nolan, we've been treating you wrong. You have a pediatric cancer, and we've been treating you like an adult. It's at this point, you have to go see a specialist for specialized chemo for a long path, or you can go get a full body bone marrow transplant. Didn't know what that was at the time. And he started telling me about it. He started telling me the statistics about it. And I was like, what's the other route? Like, what's the specialized? And that was basically just a specialized chemo treatment for pediatric cancers. I was like, I'm going to let you decide because I don't know the world. Just tell me what you think I would have the best success in. And after he talked to all the different Mayo doctors and doctors apparently around the world, is what he said, they said, you should go see the specialist. So I went to PCH, and I ended up getting treatment at PCH for 3.5 years, 3.5, not all of it inpatient, a lot of it out and, being on pills and stuff like that. And that was great. It was amazing. Super great care. PCH is an amazing hospital, but I got radiation, chemo, surgery, all of it over there too for a very long time. And I remember Lexi's like still going to college. She's got her 2 degrees. We live on this little studio in Camelback all by ourselves. Like she's doing everything, right? And I'm like, she's the real hero, right? Everyone's like, wow, Nolan, like you're amazing. You did everything. And I'm like, I just had to lay in a bed and not die. She was like doing everything, right? Like my parents got the insurance. She's like right there every day, like driving me to my chemo, being there, like doing her essays and work like from the hospital. And I'm just like, anyways. So shout out to her.
Will I get to meet her at the big Christmas party?
Oh yeah.
Oh, awesome.
You definitely will. Yeah.
So,
but 5 months, I beat it on 11/11/22, right? So tumor shrunk down. I actually didn't end up having to like cut it out or anything. I was on such a heavy steroid treatment. It just shrunk on its own, which was like one of my biggest blessings in this whole thing. And then I beat it 11/11/22. Funny enough, I actually hiked Camelback that same day and took my last chemo at 6:30 a.m. on the top of Camelback. So that was kind of fun.
That's cool.
5 months later, though, this is where it gets unfortunate. I was playing basketball again, and I started noticing pain in my back, and I told my doctors because it wasn't going away, and I was like, yeah, it's like right here. I went in person. They're like, Nolan, that's your pelvis, not your back. I'm like, well, you're the doctor, not me. Like, thank you. So we did a bone marrow biopsy, and unfortunately it came back. So I relapsed 5 months after it. Luckily, if there is a lucky in this situation, it was 0.04% leukemia at that time. So like super, super early relapse.
Yeah.
But when you do relapse, you can't use a lot of the same chemos and treatment. You have to go get a full body bone marrow transplant. So that's when I went back into the Mayo Clinic and did my full body bone marrow transplant. That's where they killed like all of my blood, all of my bone marrow. I did like full body radiation and got like the cocktail of chemo that basically just killed everything. And they got stem cells from a donor, and then they gave me the stem cells, and it kind of repopulated my body, and here I am now. So that it kind of worked, right?
Yeah.
Initially we were very worried about like, where am I going to find a donor? We were doing all the DNA tests, that type of stuff. And I guess if there's any time, it's a good time to be an average 5'10" white guy. It's when you need stem cells, because there's a lot of those people out there. So I was lucky that I got a 12 out of 12 DNA match for my donor. It's actually a 27-year-old, he's probably 28 now, in Munich, Germany. So they he was willing to donate, got his stem cells, and it was somehow flown all the way to me within 24 hours for a live, like, I don't know what they called it, but like transplant.
Yeah.
And I ended up staying a long time in the hospital, like what I called this bubble period. And then once I got to a decent neutrophil where my counts were like above 500 3 days in a row, I finally got to be out of the hospital, but I was still in this terrible bubble. And then not to mention during all of this, there was COVID and stuff like that. And, all of that stuff. But, it's been a long thing. These last 5 years have been, 6 now.
You went through all that during COVID too.
Yeah. So right before I was diagnosed in 2019, I was wearing a mask before they were cool, is how I kind of like to think of it. So I was going to get chemo, I was wearing my mask, and then COVID happened, and I'm like, oh, that's crazy. Like, what do I do? Because all the sick people go to the hospital, and then like, if you get COVID, I'm like, I'm gone. Like I unfortunately know a couple people at PCH where they got COVID during all their treatment, and they weren't.
Because your immune system is just so
it's just
low.
Zero, right? It's just terrible. So I was like, it's kind of scary going to the hospital every day where, that's where everyone's going when they get sick, but you have to go there to get your treatment and stuff like that. So very happy that's over. and we're kind of through that. But yeah.
So right now, where are you at?
Right now, I am 2 years out from my transplant. So I turned 2 earlier this year. I have 2 birthdays now, which is kind of fun. But I'm shooting for 5 years out, which is like the new goal of NED. And that's no evidence of disease. So I'm getting close, and I'd love to hear it every time I go back to my doctor. He's like, you're doing great. Everything looks good. Levels look good. Obviously, I have to adapt to this new world of normal with health and perspective, but everything looks good. And he told me, like, once you get past this 2 years mark, you get this huge exponential, like, you get exponentially further away from the possibility of relapse. So he's like, it's astronomically rare once you get 2 years out from a transplant that it does ever come back. So every day I keep going forward, it just keeps getting better health-wise, which is, you know, anything I could ask for. So it's like, if I could keep it that way, I will. So, yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, well, and even like what you said, I mean, the very little I know about cancer and the friends that have gotten it and beaten it. And, you know, there was this book, years and years ago, I think Lance Armstrong wrote it about his battle with cancer. And like, I remember in a chapter, he broke it down as like, they literally kill you.
Yeah.
And then bring you back to life in hopes that the cancer doesn't come back.
Yeah.
And just talking through that story, it's just so hard to wrap your head around that. And to hear you went through that, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And not to mention, it's like you're bubbly and happy all the time. And like, you would never know that. In fact, I didn't know that until that charity you were doing, the charity thing. And then I called Matt. I'm like, okay, explain this to me. Like, and he kind of did. He didn't go down into detail, but
and I could talk about it all day.
Talk about the charity a little bit and how that helps and all that stuff.
That charity reached out to me. It's amazing charity. They're in 7 states now, but the founder actually lives out here in Arizona now. They reached out to me during my first battle with cancer, and it's kind of like Make-A-Wish, but I remember I was 19 when I was diagnosed. I remember sitting in PCH and in the inpatient floor, and Make-A-Wish came in, and I was like, whoa, what's everybody excited about? And there was a Make-A-Wish came in, and they were going to each door in PCH, like granting wishes, right? They came into my room and was like, Nolan, like, so sorry to hear, blah, blah, blah. We'd love to grant you a wish. At the time, I was like, whoa, I didn't realize this is a thing. Wow, okay. Like, I had no idea what I wanted. I was like, yeah, I'll think about it. Do you mind coming back? Because initially I was like, I didn't get cancer to get a gift, but, you know, maybe I'll take it. So they come back and they're like, hey, we hate to break it to you, but Make-A-Wish, we didn't realize you were 19. Like, you're over 18, right?
Yeah.
Once I started getting further into my treatment, my social worker told me about Baller Dream, and they reached out. And basically, it's like Make-A-Wish for children and young adults, where the founder meets with you for a couple months, like one-on-one, learns everything about the individual, the patient, but he calls them ballers. And he curates this kind of gift for the patient or baller or the family, you know, whatever they need in the time period. And then they do this big event. Mine was at Mountain Shadows, where they bring me up onto the stage and you roast each other, where he's like, you know, friendly roast, of course. She's like, it's very upbeat. It's not all sad and cancery. It's very upbeat, uplifting for the whole community. And then at the end of it, after they're done roasting you, he surprises you with the big gift that the organization has come up with at the end of it. And then you get introduced into the Ballerhood, which is like a family or community of other people going through it, which is super cool. And yeah, now they've kept growing a lot. They've gotten a lot more popular, but they don't just do gifts. A lot of the donations go to, like, they do community carts where they do all different types of, you know, food, snacks, games that go to all the hospitals in the valley, and then all the other states that they work in. They do a bunch of little events for the family. Like, I'm pretty sure one of the last gifts that they did was for this young girl who she's battling and everything, but her backyard was just completely dirt, right? So they completely remodeled the entire backyard of this house for the family so that she could go outside and, like, play soccer and do all this stuff, and then also help out the parents at the same time. So super great organization. They just had their Dinner of Dreams, which is like where they introduce new ballers and stuff like that to the community. And they were able to help me with my first one when I got introduced. And then even more so, like, I didn't like ask for anything, but then when I relapsed, they also reached back out and asked how they could help again. So
That's really cool.
Like really
So after
amazing.
the roast, what was your gift?
My gift was actually an internship at Noble, so to go work with them, but then also they helped out a lot with my college. I believe they paid for almost an entire year of my college tuition.
That's incredible.
So it was super, super amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like usually, I mean, I get emails for different charity events and different things, and I've sat on boards before and helped with other ones, and have family members that have been part of other ones. But when I got here, it's just like I'd never even heard of this charity before, and I'm like, all right, cool. So I Googled it, and then I texted Matt, and then heard the backstory, and I mean, it's awesome the way you were raising money for them and how they've helped you, and clearly you're passionate about it. So, you know, RETSY, it's like we are a big family. We look out for each other. We share how we can share. So, that's great.
Yeah, we'll have to go to the Dinner of Dreams next year when they come back. So we'll get a little RETSY table there, which will be fun.
You got to remind me of it. Let me know.
I will.
Yeah.
No, I just I can't believe you went through that much in like 4 years.
It's an incredible story. Yeah.
Like, it's about a period of 4 years?
It was just over 5.
Just over 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
So like I'm still like I'm not in treatment, but because I haven't hit that 5 years, it's still like the clock's ticking. But the active treatment was a little over 5.
Yeah.
What do you call it? No active disease or NAD? Or
NED is no evidence of disease. Is the thing after transplant.
I think that it's amazing. I mean, the thing that worked for you is stem cell.
Yeah, right.
And
it's wild.
Yeah, I mean, I know I don't know, everything I read, we're a little bit behind on stem cell in the U.S., but it's like other places. There's a lot of doctors that I follow and different things that I read, and it's just amazing how that can change people's lives. I mean, for your extent, save your life. For some people, it's just taking away pain from a hip or an elbow or back or this and that. It's just amazing. I mean, and you think about like technology and the Mayo Clinic and AI and how much that's going to evolve exponentially.
Right.
And what's amazing is you're telling me, so I remember reading these books, how in the future they're going to be doing DNA tests on you to figure out what exactly was the most effective treatment. And the fact that they did that with you, I mean, it's just so cool to see technology evolve. But clearly going through it is horrendous. But I mean,
here I am. It's working. I just think it's crazy that I remember when I was
think
diagnosed.
If we hiked Camelback today, you would beat me up there by at least 20 minutes.
I don't know about that, but like they told me it was like 15 years ago, what you had today was like a death sentence. Just how fast the technology for hospitals is getting better and better and better it's crazy to me. So yeah.
And so when the very first time you were diagnosed, it was 88%? Or
88% of my blood was leukemia blasts.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then when they caught it, it was
0.04. So I got
early.
we found it really, really early in the relapse the second time. Yeah.
No, it's amazing. But I mean, the lesson learned is if you're in pain, go get it checked out.
Go get your blood tested once a year. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. So
Matt and I have an uncle that his whole thing is like, he's like, you'll know it's bad if I'm in the hospital. Like, doesn't matter what it is. I don't know that Jimmy's ever been into a hospital, right?
No.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah.
So, but
well, and that kind of goes into your slogan. Can you share that?
Yeah, so my brand slogan, I don't know the right term, but it's living life with no limits and helping others do the same. It's kind of derived a lot from my last 5-6 years of life, where that first part of it, the living life with no limits, is a big appreciation that I didn't realize I had in life until after all of this, where I didn't realize how much in life I took for granted in being in the hospital for so long. Like, I can remember so many days where I'm sitting there in the hospital bed feeling like garbage, where all I wanted to do was go play basketball, or all I wanted to do was go on a walk, right? Just be out, do something normal. I'm sitting there watching all my friends, family, colleagues buy their houses, get married, do all the fun stuff, right? And I didn't realize how simple or how good I had it with just the basics that really weren't the basics, I guess, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like, I remember that first time, I got such bad neuropathy from being super active to instantly no activity in my legs, where it was so hard to walk. Like, going upstairs, I couldn't get out of a bed by myself, using the restroom. I had to ask my grandma to borrow her walker just to like get around. And I remember one day I was taking out of my car after treatment, and we lived on the 3rd story condo by Papago, and I'm just like, it took me like 30 minutes just to get up there, and I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, where was this appreciation just to be able to walk when I had it, right?
Yeah.
And it didn't realize, or like brushing my teeth, like I was so fatigued just brushing my teeth, I felt like my arm was going to fall off, and now I can brush my teeth totally fine. So I'm like, it's a whole level of appreciation of being able to live life with no limits, in a sense that you can actually go do these things. And a lot of people don't realize that. I think, at least I didn't for sure, until it was kind of taken away from me. And then the second part of it is help others do the same. The amount of support I got when I was diagnosed from Lexi, from my family, from friends, colleagues, was astronomical. And I don't know if I'd be in this chair today if it wasn't for them, which is crazy. And just the gratitude I get from the help. And I realized later than I should have that it's okay to accept help when people are offering it. Initially, I was like, no, I got this. I'll get through it. Like, don't worry about me. At the end of the day, if they're wanting to help, it's, they're offering them to let them make you dinner, let them take you to the hospital, these type of things. And I never realized that until too late. And that's kind of where that second portion of my quote comes in, is help others do the same, is be there for other people in your community, because that support goes a lot further than you think.
Yeah.
So that's like my brand thing, is the no limits, and then the tagline of live life with no limits and help others do the same. So
I love that. Yeah. Wow. Where do we take this conversation after that?
Yeah.
Kind of goosebumps here. I'm like, and it's not cold in this room. So now that that's behind you, focusing forward and everything, tell me, what are you learning from Jose? What are you learning from the RETSY agents, being around them? Like, I'd love to get a younger agent's perspective that's newer in the industry, of like, what are your key takeaways? What do you love about it? What would you change?
Oh, what would I change? Oh, those are all great questions. First of all, I'm learning so much from Jose, and going to the RETSY rendezvous, just the team meetings, the brokerage meetings. Like, it is so amazing to be surrounded by so much knowledge and experience. I would say some of the more important stuff that I've learned is opportunity, where when there is opportunity, go for it. Don't just let it sit and pass, because it's not every day that you're going to get the option to hold open all these beautiful homes and go do all these tours and meet all these amazing builders and developers. That's something that I've learned early. And then a lot of the things that Jose specifically taught me is the fundamentals to being an agent. Like, you got to work with your CRM. You got to call these people. You got to do, the right steps of your daily business to get there. And then the opportunity that RETSY provides from an overall perspective is amazing. Yeah. And I still feel like I need to take advantage of more of it, but a lot of the resources that we have from the CRM, from the AI stuff is amazing. So,
Well, I notice that every time I'm at an open house, I see you guys together or separate, but I always see you guys going through the broker opens. We always like to pride ourselves in supporting our agents and visiting the opens. And I'm always a big believer of like, A, you got to educate yourself in the market, right? Mm-hmm. All the price points, right?
Yeah.
B, the product, the builder, you ask the right questions to the agent sitting in the open house. And C, when somebody does call you, you're just talking with that much more experience. Like, what do you think of this builder? It's like, oh, well, I was just at a broker open for one of their homes the other day. It was built gorgeously. Like, I love how they did this. I love how they did this. But surrounding yourself there and seeing you guys come through that, I know Jose's been religious at coming to these open houses. I've seen him at pretty much every single one, too. So... Yeah. And I mean, it takes a lot out of your calendar. I mean, Matthew and I try to go to every single open house that RETSY has sponsored in the, I call it the yellow calendar, but I guess it's other colors in other people's calendars. But, and not only that, but like on the weekends when my daughter's with me, it's like, all right, we got 2 broker opens to go to. My daughter loves to go to them.
Yeah,
so.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and you started really early. You shared with me, so you're 26 now.
Yep.
You're a homeowner, you're an investor and an agent. So like how even like given the battles that you went through, like how important was starting early?
Yeah, honestly, it's huge. It's just like investing pretty much. Like you look at all these people where it's like, oh, I wish I would have done that in my 20s. I wish I would have done that in my 30s and all these things. And it's funny, like you say early, I feel so far behind, it's not even funny. Like I feel like I sat there doing nothing for so long and I watched everybody else get this like head start, and now I'm trying to play makeup or catch up. So I'm trying to like do 2 times as much as everybody else is. But starting early is so important, because when you get so many opportunities in front of you like this, if you don't take advantage of them, you're just going to sit there. And one thing that scares me is I don't want to wake up in the mirror and I wake up, look myself in the mirror. I'm 40 years old and I'm in the same place that I was, 20 years from now. And that's terrifying to me, where, yeah, I don't know. It's just, I think you need to start early. The sooner you can buy your house and live in it, the better off you're going to be. I think one of the things that I've learned is it's not about like timing the market. It's more of your time in the market.
Yep.
And I think of that religiously when it comes to any kind of investment property I want to buy. So when we bought our house, it was funny. Title might have lied to me, but the guy was like, I've been doing title for 28 years and this is the best deal I've ever seen in 28 years. And I was like, well, thank you. I tried really hard. He's like,
that's a good title rep.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, who's your agent on this? I was like, I was the agent. And, I tried really hard to get the best property and then the best Airbnb and then continually try to build that going forward, because I think just being stagnant where you're at is one of the scariest things you can do, especially when there is this wealth of opportunity around RETSY and around us right now, that if you're not taking advantage of it, it's like doing yourself a disservice. So
yeah.
How many open houses do you sit a month? Like how many new contacts do you make in a given week? Like
yeah. So I shoot for 1 open house a week, but right now I'm doing 2. And then I get anywhere from 8 to 25 people in my CRM a week right now. But again, it varies per season, varies per how much effort you want to put in. So, but that's where I'm at right now.
That's great. Doing all the right things.
Trying. Yeah, trying to get back into the video side of it again. I noticed that I do really well on that end, from people reaching out on Instagram, YouTube, that type of stuff. So trying to hound that one.
I'll tell you, if you don't follow my right-hand person, Chrissy Heller, you should.
Okay.
She's just... Say what you will about the interaction videos on the phone talking about your day. Like she sprinkles in, personal life with the kids, real estate, personal life, real estate. But because she does that, now, her kids, I think they go to, I forget the name of the private school, but like all the parents in that school know that Chrissy does real estate. And the more you do those personal videos, it doesn't have to be a big production on every video you do. You can tour somebody through a house or mention something.
Yeah.
But strategically, it's one of the best ways agents can get in front of people to stay top of mind in knowing that they still do real estate.
Yeah.
We were talking with an amazing legacy agent yesterday at lunch, and I mean, he's been doing it forever. And I just kind of asked him, like, what do you do to stay in front of your clients? And I mean, literally, he just finds a way to get in touch with every one of his clients about every 3 months.
Yeah.
And just stays on top of mind for them. And I mean, literally uses no tech yet.
No tech yet.
We're hoping he'll come over and use some tech. But that said, it's like, it's so vitally important because, I mean, the cheese has moved. I mean, it's like if you're on social and your friends are on social and they see you doing real estate, they're going to call you.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel like everybody's on it, but it's getting that content out there and staying top of mind.
Yeah. Exactly. So.
Well, you touched on tools, and we didn't ask. What's your favorite RETSY tool?
See, I love Lofty, but I love CRM. I love it. It's so good, from just the website, the smart plans. Like I use it every single day. Yeah. But I'm learning to like ReChat a lot too. I'm utilizing that one quite a bit. So.
Good.
But Lofty's my. I know a lot of people might be switching over to Luxury Presence, but
we're not taking Lofty away from anybody.
No,
so don't worry. We're not
For those listening in, we
Yeah.
provide 2 websites and CRMs for the agents. They get to pick what they like. One you'll find has more features, and then one is more pretty. That's how I'm going to describe them.
Yeah. But I've found I like Lofty for myself, and I've already like grown into it. I know I've only been here for a little over a year, but that's definitely what I've grown into. So I love it.
Yeah.
We have a long history with Lofty.
Yeah.
We do.
And then Chime before Lofty.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll change their name again in a year for no reason. We'll see.
Yeah. It's always going to be Chime to me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because you've been here just a little over a year, and I mean, you've had a great first year.
Best year in real estate. So
yeah, do you know how much you're up on sales volume?
I believe I'm at 2.9 this year, which I mean, for me, I feel pretty happy after going almost 5 years and having like one closing. So that's pretty great.
Yeah,
and a lot of it has been referrals. When I was in the hospital, I did a lot of referrals where I was just sending it out because I couldn't do it. But now I'm actually happy to be out there and being able to put in the effort and the work. So
for sure.
Yeah.
You've met a lot of doctors. Doctors like to buy homes.
Yeah, no, I know.
You want to put a positive spin on that whole story.
Yeah, exactly.
Just crushing the doctor market right now.
Let's circle back. Yeah, 2 of them have been like in the medical industry. So that's good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very
Doctors
cool.
are some of my favorites to work with too, because they're just kind of like, they just don't care, but they want the house, right?
Yep.
And they will take advice. You know, they're not going to just haggle with you.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, because I imagine they're probably frustrated when they give a patient advice and they don't take it. So that's probably.
Probably.
Can you imagine using that on a doctor if they try to not take your advice? Like,
just say, well, what if you told me to eat right and exercise and I just didn't?
Ate bad and didn't exercise.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm going to write that down next time I go see him.
Yeah, right?
Exactly. Well, would you mind sharing some of your goals, your long-term goals?
Yeah, of course. So initially I wanted to open my own brokerage, right? But now I'm like, I love this brokerage. So I'm like, I see how much work you guys put in, and I'm like, a team is a really good idea. So at some point, creating my own no limit kind of like team or brand, continuing to grow my personal portfolio, and then more importantly, build a nice community of people out here that we can all kind of rely on for that team, whether it's clients, doctors, athletes, all kinds of people that kind of rely on each other, of just, like-minded individuals that come together and create
good
different
network.
Good network and different community spaces that we can, count on throughout the valley. So
Very cool.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, I always like to ask the time question. I'm interested to hear your answer on this. So imagine you have a time machine and you can either go back in time 10 years or go forward in time 10 years and talk to yourself for 1 minute. Which direction are you going? And then what are you saying or asking yourself?
Well, it's definitely backwards. I don't think I would go forward. I don't know why, but initially gut reaction, it's definitely backwards. I'd probably go back, I don't know if 10 years, because I'd be like 16, so that'd be interesting. But obviously, I'd probably give myself a heads up of the life that I'm going to be going into, and then probably tell myself to quit playing with Legos and buy houses in 2008. And but probably just give myself a good heads up and try to set my mindset right for the whole journey of it going forward. And then that would be what I would do. So I feel like it's already kind of the mindset's good going forward, and it was good before, but at least, not being hit by a brick wall would be nice. So
how important do you think that mindset was going through that?
Oh, it was everything.
Yeah.
It really was everything. If you didn't have a good, like this bracelet right here, I don't know, I think it's called Rasclats, but their brand is Seek the Positive. And I wore it like every single day because it is miserable. Like, it doesn't matter what cancer, like how many chemos, what hospital you go to, it's just a miserable experience. And if your mindset isn't there and you're not trying to stay positive, it just doubles down on everything. I thought of it as like the doctors at this point, they know what they're doing. You listen to them, your body is going to get through it. You're going to get through it with them. So all of your effort needs to go into your mindset. You need to try to stay positive, find the little wins throughout the day. Otherwise, like, it's just going to be a terrible physical life and then a terrible mental life. So I'd say I tried a lot with the physical thing, but it was like probably 95% all just trying to stay healthy mentally throughout it. So
yeah.
Well, and you shared too, like how important, like your now fiance, because you recently engaged.
Yes,
Congrats on
yes,
that.
thank you. Yeah, almost 9 years together. Yeah, long time. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah, I drug her through a lot, to say the least. So she deserves the world. Yeah. So I was shooting for 10 though.
Well, I'm excited to meet her at the party and everything. So
she better be there. She keeps like missing it with work and stuff. So
I think we're doing pretty well on time. Anything else you want to add?
No. How about you? Anything else you want to add or share?
I mean, I've been in the content game quite a bit. I'm on YouTube. I'm trying to get back into it because I did take a little break. But if you're ever interested to see my second battle with cancer, like me in the hospital, I did try to record as much of it as possible. So I have a whole YouTube playlist.
What's the channel?
Just my name, Nolan Hynes. So it's on there, and it basically shows you a lot of like what I went through in the hospital from my transplant perspective. And the reason I did it is because when I went through it the first time, I went so like fight or flight that honestly a lot of it's jumbled, right? Where I was like, I couldn't care what day, what time, what, where I'm at, I'm going to get through this. The second time was more of like, I need something to remember and look back on of what I went through. And then Lexi and I were so like, we don't know what we're doing. And we didn't have anyone to really be like, oh yeah, that's what it looks like. Okay, cool. Yeah. So then other people, if they have something similar, they can go see exactly what I went through with my transplant, of me in the hospital, like what I ate, what I did that day, what it was like, and that type of stuff. So
yeah. I mean, and with your positive attitude, I mean, you're probably going to guide them in the right process if they're having to deal with the same thing you had to deal with.
Yeah.
Like, I love that idea. I mean, that's my go-to. I mean, I don't even know if I use Google anymore between like the AI tools and YouTube. It's like anytime I need to learn something or I want to research something or I don't understand something, go right to YouTube.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think that's great that you're doing that, and it's like documenting the content. So,
I mean, I get a lot of people like every day reaching out through YouTube where it's like, oh, I'm in Vancouver. I have to go get a transplant. And, they ask me all kinds of questions and I, do what I can to help them. Most of the time it's like about mindset, be like, hey, listen to your doctors and try to be positive with everything. And then drink lots of water and movement is medicine. Like move as much as possible, right? Like, because if you just lay there the whole time, you're going to feel it when you get through this thing. So but I get a ton of people reaching out from like PCH or just from what the YouTube video shows. So, yeah.
Very cool.
Well, if you want to share also, how do people get a hold of you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously my number, but I don't know if I want to share that here.
You can share your email.
Well,
some people share phone numbers, some people share email.
I mean, honestly, all of my stuff to see my daily is through Instagram. To see more like dialed content is through YouTube. Otherwise, feel free to call or email me. So,
awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. We'll make sure Jack links all that in the show notes.
Cool. Yeah.
So, well, we really appreciate your time.
Well, thanks for
sharing today.
I appreciate
it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nolan.
Yeah.
That wraps up this week's episode of the RETSY podcast. Thanks for listening. Check out the show notes to connect with Nolan. If you enjoyed today's episode, take a moment to leave us a review wherever you listen to this podcast. And please subscribe so you never miss what's next. Next week, Chris and Matt are sitting down with dietitian Matt Hoodie. Here's a sneak preview.
Take a tortilla, right? Like a little 60-calorie tortilla, and you cut it into 4, right? You got 15 calories in each little triangle. Okay, well, we got to turn it into a chip. So we deep fry it in oil, right? Every tablespoon of oil on the planet, 130 calories. So if it absorbs 1/10, which is pretty conservative, that's 13 plus 15. So now we're at 28 calories per chip at a restaurant. You scoop a tablespoon of guacamole at 25. You're at 53 calories per bite. So you have 20 of those. You just had 1,100 calories. You have 20 chips and guac while you're talking to your friends. You just knocked out 1,100 before your food came out.